Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're taking a look at a very spicy Pokemon in the Open Grade League, XL Perfect IV Shadow Hippopotas. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Mr. Fleek, so many thanks for the battle submission. Hippopotas is a pure ground type Pokemon with the moveset of Bite, Body Slam, and Dig. Hippopotas ranked, I believe, 450 on PvPoke, so definitely not a Pokemon that's used for climbing, but this trainer is still able to get a couple wins with it. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's go Shadow Hippopotas. Hopping to the first match, picking up a pretty neutral lead, defends Deoxys into regular Dragonair. Dragonair goes for the Body Slam as soon as they get it, but by doing so, they throw on alignment and give Deoxys an entire free counter. And that's going to be very impactful in this match, as normally, if Deoxys went for a Rock Slide, Deoxys would lose CMP as it goes for the Psycho Boost to the second Body Slam, but since the opponent threw on suboptimal timing, they're now one turn short, allowing Deoxys to get some very valuable damage here. Dragonair goes for the Body Slam, we now see a safe switch into the Water Gun Lantern, Dragonair is low, the opponent is forced to switch out, and in comes Medicham. Medicham can fire off a Psychic or a Dynamic Punch here, but either way, Lantern not going to mind it whatsoever. Lantern massively overfarming and going for the Surf. Should be able to make a Surf plus a Thunderbolt here. Opponent commits the shield, and now they're getting hit with the Thunderbolts. This will not KO, but the opponent has burned both their shields already, and the Shadow Hippopotas in the back is going to have a 2-0 shield advantage. Is it time? Do we send in the Shadow Hippopotas? Yes, we do. In comes the Hippopotas, and a beautiful catch onto the Deoxys as the opponent goes for the Ice Punch. Shadow Hippopotas, unfortunately, will be met with another charge move from the Medicham, and Hippopotas is going to expend a shield. In comes the Dragonair. Dragonair gets farmed down. In the back, it's Carbink. Oh no, Carbink, of course, is going to be resisting the bites, as Carbink does have that fairy subtyping. Carbink is going to be firing off the Rock Slide. We see the shield from the Hippopotas. Hippopotas, of course, does have access to Dig, which will hit for super effective damage onto the Carbink. Shadow Hippopotas lands the Dig. Hippopotas will need to make it to another Dig, but the Carbink is at the Rock Slide. Will this be enough to KO? Hippopotas able to withstand the damage, make it to the Dig. This will get the KO, but there's still the very low health Medicham in the back. Dig gets the KO. In comes the Medicham. One bite gets the KO. And that's a good game. Picking up a pretty decent lead in the next match, defends Deoxys into Pelipper. Even without Thunderbolt, this is still a pretty okay spot to be in as the Deoxys. Deoxys is going to be hit with the Weather Ball. That's not too threatening. Opponent now going to go for a switch into Registeel, and Registeel is going to be able to absorb this damage from the Deoxys. This is where not having Thunderbolt is a bit unfortunate, as Deoxys' energy is walled. We see a farm up and a switch into the Lantern as the opponent is going to fire off the Zap Cannon with the Regi, and Registeel does get the debuff. Lantern continuing to farm, Lantern going for the Surf, trying to get this damage before a potential second debuff from a Zap Cannon. Surf will connect, Registeel able to withstand that damage. Registeel is going to be firing off another Zap Cannon, this time no debuff. Lantern able to Water Gun farm down. In the back, it's a Clodsire. Clodsire farming up energy, but will be hit with the Surf. Surf, even when debuffed, not going to be doing a lot, as we see a screenshot as well at just how little damage that did. Sludge Bomb connects onto the Lantern. Lantern making it to the 1 HP Surf. Lantern barely able to hang on. Surf into the Clodsire, will get a shield. Clodsire gets the farm down. This is definitely not what Clodsire was expecting to see in the back, as in comes Shadow Hippopotas. Opponent goes for the Earthquake. We see a switch into the Pelipper, but back in comes the Deoxys with the Rock Slide loaded. Rock Slide into that Pelipper, will be shielded. Pelipper firing off energy here. Can Deoxys survive a Weather Ball? Deoxys is going to commit the shield, trying to make it to the Rock Slide, and gets there. This is single super effective damage onto the Pelipper. Rock Slide will get the Pelipper low. Pelipper is going to be firing off energy, but all this does is just give farm to the Shadow Hippopotas. In comes Hippopotas. Hippopotas gets the Bite farm down. Back in comes the Clodsire. Hippopotas farming up and going for the Body Slam. Will this be enough to KO? Body Slam onto the Clodsire will secure the KO, and that's a good game. Very tough lead in the next match. Defense Deoxys into Superior, and Superior beats this entire team. This is extremely unfortunate. Having Rock Slide does help a little bit in this matchup, as if you're running Thunderbolt, then you're forced to debuff yourself with a Psycho Boost, but still, this is a very negative matchup. Superior is absurdly strong in this current meta, and being this weak to it, this battle is definitely going to be an uphill one. Going for the Rock Slide, we see the no shield by the Superior. Superior over farming, and Superior can secure a knockout here with the Frenzy Plant. They actually go for the Aerial Ace, and they have the back-to-back Deoxys. Shielding an Aerial Ace is a bit of an unfortunate situation. Deoxys, oh my goodness, banking that Psycho Boost, saving it for later, and the Carbink save switch is going to be answered with Lantern. Lantern, these water guns hitting for super effective damage, and so will the Surf. Surf connects onto the Carbink. Carbink now approaching the red health already. Carbink fires off the Moonblast. Lantern shakes that damage off like it's nothing. Lantern over farming as much as it can, not wanting to risk a farm down, because then the opponent could potentially make it to a Rock Slide. Surf will secure the KO. Superior gets the snipe. In comes Deoxys, going for the Psycho Boost, putting pressure on that final shield. Does the opponent protect the Superior? They do not. In the back, it's Skeledirge. Oh my goodness, and look at the bites from Hippopotas. Hippopotas absolutely shredding the Skeledirge. Hippopotas goes for the no shield, and it's a disarming voice. The flex, that could have been a Shadow Ball, but still holding on to the energy and taking the win. Opponent is going to save switch into a Spark Lantern in the next game, and Spark Lantern is uncomfortable for this team to deal with. Able to land the Rock Slide. Rock Slide does a solid amount of damage, but the opponent still has that Greninja lurking in the back, and since the Lantern that Mr. Fleek is running is Water Gun, Greninja can do pretty well into Water Gun Lantern. Deoxys farming up, going for the Psycho Boost. We now see a switch into his own Lantern to catch the charge move. Very nicely done. That Surf does absolutely nothing. Water Gun Lantern able to take down the Spark variant. In comes Greninja. But Greninja, now that this Lantern, of course, is not running Spark, it's running Water Gun, Greninja can do very well here when it has shields to hide behind, and it does. Going for the Thunderbolt here, hoping the opponent will call the bait, but Greninjas, they absolutely love to shield, and Greninja's pacing with Water Shuriken is just absolutely amazing. Night Slash will connect, Greninja firing off yet another Night Slash, and there's not really a good way to farm this down with the Hippopotas, as Hippopotas, of course, has access to Bite. In the back, it's a Gligar. In comes the Hippopotas. Hippopotas up a shield, but oh my goodness, how do you get rid of the Greninja? Hippopotas will be hit with an Aerial Ace. That does quite a lot of damage. Aerial Ace still not the strongest move ever. It is a definite improvement over previous seasons, but that's still not a very powerful move. That just does so much to the Shadow Hippopotas. Hippopotas now going for the Body Slam into the Gligar. Body Slam will be shielded up by the opponent. They have so much energy on the Gligar. Gligar will go for the Aerial Ace. Hippopotas committing the shield. Hippopotas farming up, able to make it to the Body Slam, but unfortunately the Greninja is just going to be able to make a Night Slash versus the Deoxys. You can send in the Deoxys. Oh, just cannot get to the Rock Slide as Greninja secures the KO with a Night Slash, and one Water Shuriken will take down Hippopotas. Dream lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Opponent save switches into a Pelipper, and Lantern enters the field to remind people that Pelipper should not be used as a save switch. Even though this is the Water Gun variant of Lantern, this is still a commanding matchup. The opponent is already almost at half health off of resisted Water Guns alone. This matchup is just dominating, and we see Lantern firing off the Thunderbolt. Decision time for the opponent. Are they willing to shield? No, they're going to let that through. And if they send back on the A-Slash here, A-Slash does not necessarily appreciate Water Guns. As you can see, Water Guns add up quite a bit onto the A-Slash, and Lantern will fire off the Surf. Surf is going to be no-shielded by the opponent. Opponent looking for a farm down, but Lantern makes it to another Surf. Now the opponent is in a very uncomfortable position. We see a switch into Deoxys, going for the snipe. The counter went through. Is it enough to KO the Sandslash, or does the Sandslash live on 1 HP? It KOs. In the back, it's Gligar, but this game should be over. The Deoxys firing off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide will be no-shielded by the Gligar. This is a regular Gligar, so it does have some pretty nice bulk to it. Now going for the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost is going to be shielded up by the Gligar. Gligar is going to be forced to fire off energy, and at this point, since the Deoxys is debuffed, you just let it through. Dig will secure the KO. In comes the perfect IV Shadow Hippopotas. Let's go, Hippo. Hippo is going to no shield as the opponent goes for the aerial ace. Hippo continuing to farm. Hippo making it to the body slam. Body slam KOs the Gligar, securing the win and a 2 shield flex as well. Picking up a pretty solid lead in the next match, Deoxys into Charizard. Having Rock Slide, a definite plus if you're going up against Charizard. However, even with Rock Slide, if the Charizard is able to land a Blast Burn like it does, then this matchup can get very uncomfortable very quickly. Rock Slide will be shielded. We now see a save switch into the Water Gun Lantern. Oh my goodness, the Charizard staying in is a surprise to me, as this is a nightmare matchup for the Charizard. Opponent now going to send in Sableye, but they took a lot of Water Gun damage onto that Charizard. I would have liked to see from the opponent just switching out right away, as by just staying in that matchup, they lost a lot of HP, and that is not something that Charizard has a lot of. Sableye will go for the foul play. Lantern able to withstand that damage and go for the serve, continually applying pressure onto the Sableye. Sableye is going to no shield. And now the Lantern is actually not wanting to KO the Sableye. Instead, looking for a little bit of energy on Hippopotas. Hippopotas now with a 1 bite head start. In comes the Charizard. Charizard going to be firing off the Dragon Claw into the Hippopotas. Hippopotas will commit the shield. Hippopotas in the back. It's going to be a Medicham. We see a switch into the Deoxys as Medicham fires off their Ice Punch. Ice Punch will get the Deoxys low. Deoxys, oh no, they can't make it to a move. And this is going to be very tough for the Hippopotas. Hippopotas farming up energy. Hippopotas will have to shield here as the Medicham goes for the Ice Punch. May need to have a Body Slam shielded and then land a Dig to get this KO. Body Slam is shielded, just going for the Body Slam. The health of the Hippopotas is just getting too low. Does a Body Slam KO? It does not. Oh no, the 1 HP Medicham survive. Ice Punch KOs the Shadow Hippo. And that's game over. Picking up a bit of a tough lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Gligar. With Rock Slide, this matchup is improved somewhat for the Deoxys, but it's still not a fantastic spot to be in, just due to the fact that counter is going to be resisted, whereas the Gligar is able to hit for neutral with the wing attacks. Dig is able to connect. That does some solid damage onto the bulky Deoxys. Deoxys returns fire with the Rock Slide. Deoxys now opting to go for the Psycho Boost. This will not be lethal into the Gligar, but it does help get the Gligar low. We see a switch into the Lantern trying to catch an aerial ace. Unfortunately, that is unsuccessful, and Gligar will connect with a Dig onto the Lantern. Opponent now sends in a Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash, so they are extremely weak to the Water Gun Lantern in the back. Surf will connect onto the A-Slash. A-Slash farming up quite a lot of energy here. A-Slash is going to be firing off the energy, and we see the no shield as they go for the Drill Run. In comes Deoxys. Deoxys gets denied, does not get the counter through that it's supposed to, and Deoxys will shield up the Ice Punch. Deoxys exiting with a small amount of energy here. The opponent, of course, still has the Gligar, and it's a Vigoroth in the back. Vigoroth is going to be hit with the Psycho Boost. Do we see a shield from the opponent? They've saved all their shields until this moment, and we do. In comes the Shadow Hippopotas. These bites are actually tearing through the Vigoroth. Vigoroth will fire off the Body Slam. That does quite a lot of damage to Hippopotas. Hippopotas is able to make it to the Body Slam. Body Slam will be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. The question is, can Hippopotas get countered down? No, it cannot. Opponent throws energy, and this sets up Deoxys to win. In comes the Deoxys. Deoxys is going to have to shield up the move from the Vigoroth, but the nice thing is the Gligar is extremely low. It can probably get countered down, and it does. Back in comes the Vigoroth, and the opponent concedes the match. Hopping into the final match, leading Defense Deoxys into Shadow Swampert, and this is a massive problem. Swampert has a favorable matchup against this entire team. Swampert is going to strike first with the Hydro Cannon. That does massive damage to the Deoxys. Deoxys opting for the more expensive Rock Slide, so it doesn't debuff its counters. We see the shield from the Swampert. Swampert nearly at half HP purely off fast move damage alone. Deoxys is going to match the shield. Deoxys now going to go for the Psycho Boost. Decision time for the Swampert. Are they willing to shield? Psycho Boost gets it low, and it actually gets the KO. In comes Ninetales, and Ninetales is going to be met with a Rock Slide. This is a debuffed Rock Slide, so the opponent is going to no shield, but Ninetales is not going to appreciate the Water Gun Lantern that is brought in to greet it. The Ninetales is going to be firing off a Scorching Sands that hits for super effective damage. Ninetales will get fully farmed down. What's in the back that they didn't want to switch out? And it's a Golbat in the back. Golbat going straight for the Poison Fang. Poison Fang not going to be enough to KO here. The Lantern should be able to withstand this damage. Okay, that was a little closer than I was expecting. But Lantern is able to withstand the damage. Grab a shield with the Thunderbolt. And in comes the Shadow Hippopotas. These bites are adding up onto the Golbat. Hippopotas will commit the shield. Golbat baits with the Poison Fang, but it's not going to matter. The little hippo that could. Shadow Hippopotas. Body Slam takes down the Golbat. And that's a good game. All in all, these were some extremely entertaining battles, and I like seeing the variety of different Shadow Hundos that people have. Obviously, not something that's in your control. People get the Shadow Hundos that they get, but it's cool to see that when people get them, even if they're a less traditional one, let's say, than like a Shadow Hundo T-Tar that you're like, I'm immediately 50 maxing. Something like a Shadow Hippopotas, where this trainer goes, you know what, I have it, I'm building it, and I don't care about that battle rating. We're going to try and get some wins. So I definitely respect the heck out of that, and I really enjoy getting to see these spicier mons used, even if it is quite difficult to get wins with them. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.